Hi guys, welcome to Roy Meets World presented by Attractions Magazine. My name is Roy, and for today's episode, I'm going to switch up my format just a little bit to kind of inform you of some tips and tricks that you can take advantage of if you are planning a trip to Walt Disney World anytime soon. I'm hoping this is a segment that can continue if it's helpful, beneficial to you in some way, but I'm going to be calling it What in the World? Because I can, and I like it. So for today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the implementation and the benefits of Disney's FastPass ride reservation system. So even though FastPass is very synonymous with Disney, each Disney park does have their own specific FastPass distribution system that is constantly changing. The most relevant ones, if you're watching this, are probably going to be Disneyland and Walt Disney World. FastPass was developed back in 1999 for the domestic parks as an identical virtual queue system for both resorts. So since then, the Disneyland Resort model has received minor updates and modifications, whereas the Walt Disney World Resort model has received very major ones. How both systems used to work is that you would take your park ticket for that day that you used at the turnstiles to be admitted into the park that you are currently in. You would go to a ride that you wanted to ride, you would insert your park ticket into a kiosk, and it would spit out a little paper FastPass ticket with a window of a return time, and that would be your FastPass ticket. When you got your FastPass, it would be printed on the ticket, the date and the time interval that the FastPass would be active for, as well as when you could get your next FastPass, which I believe would either be the start time of that paper FastPass that you printed or 2 hours after you printed it, whichever comes first, if that makes sense. So that system, which Disneyland still technically uses, requires you to be in the park and to go to the ride that you want a FastPass at a later time in order to get a FastPass, which I think requires people to take initiative and to be held accountable for FastPasses that they want to have. Now let's go over to the reason that you might actually be here, which is for the Walt Disney World FastPass reservation system, which is a little bit different and a little bit more complicated. That is right, I'm talking about Disney's FastPass Plus system. So here's the deal. Walt Disney World is very much so a worldwide tourist destination, maybe more so than anywhere else in the world, but people plan their vacations very far in advance when they come to Orlando. So Disney, trying to adhere to that in kind of a controversial move, back in December 2013, January 2014, rolled out FastPass Plus. This did away with paper FastPasses completely and introduced a 100% digital FastPass system. The most notable difference being that you could select your FastPasses weeks in advance from outside the parks, and you could select up to 3. Disney has received a ridiculous amount of cynicism for doing this, but it's working. It just requires doing your research and figuring out the system before you come. Currently, if you have reservations to stay in a Disney resort on property, you can select FastPasses 60 days in advance, and if you're not, it's 30 days in advance. And you can do that one of 2 ways. You can either do it online, or you can utilize their mobile app. Personally, you've got to use the app. This is how it's done. This is how the magic happens. FastPass Plus had a lot of kinks and problems when it first rolled out, trying to convince people to switch over to the new system, which was paper into digital, which people don't really transition that well with, but it's had a lot of updates and upgrades, and right now, this is how you want to plan your vacation, I promise. The greatest benefits right now of FastPass Plus on the mobile app is that they are unlimited, they are free, and you can do them remotely from wherever you are. I actually wasn't going to do this because I thought I could just verbally describe it pretty well, but I think I'm going to go head over to Hollywood Studios and just show you how to make FastPasses on the app versus on a kiosk and how they compare and how they're different. Just because visual aid is second to none, right? So let's go head over to Studios. Alright, I made it to Hollywood Studios. You can see the Chinese theater back there. Let's talk about some FastPasses. So as I was just mentioning, there are 2 ways to set up your FastPasses. One is by visiting an in-park kiosk. There's one right over there, right behind me. If you pick up a park map on your way into the park that you're going into, you're gonna see little emblems, little FastPass Plus signs, and those are going to designate where the kiosks are in the park. They should be about equidistant from wherever you are in the park at any given time. And those are the kiosks you can go up to and alter or reserve for the first time your FastPasses for your party. Make sure you grab a park map so you know exactly where they are. There are about 4 in each of the parks. Alright, so I haven't made any selections for today. I'm going to go ahead and tap my media right here. The RFID is going to scan. It's going to recognize me. And if I had anybody else in my party, I would scan them, but I'm by myself right now. I'm going to hit next, and it's going to show all available FastPasses and the times that are available. If you scan all the way down to the bottom, you're going to see what's not available. It's probably going to be the more popular rides or things like the shows that have like a limited amount of FastPasses that are available in the first place. For anything that you're interested in, if you hit little details here, it's going to show you more specific times that were available. And the most important thing about this is to keep refreshing. Each time you tap anything and you tap back or anything, it's going to refresh the system, the page. More times are going to disappear, but more times could also possibly show up. So that's something that I think is very, very important to take advantage of here and on the app. Every single time you go to a new page, you start over, you start again. Every time it refreshes, You have new times to better fit your schedule. Even if there's a ride that wasn't here before, if I go back and start over again, it could pop up any second because everybody's constantly getting fast passes, altering fast passes from everywhere in the park and even from remote areas outside the park. So everything's always going to be available. Just got to keep trying, keep refreshing, and it'll show up. Alright, so now that I've selected the 3 fast passes that I would like, I can go into My Disney Experience, click on my fast passes. It's going to show my itinerary for the day, the fast passes that I selected on the kiosk, because this is linked to my ticket and to my Disney Experience account. You do have to set up an account and you do have to sync yourself and everybody else and everybody's tickets to that account. That is very important. That's really the only way that you can set up fast passes successfully and all in a group. If you would like to alter your fast passes from here, you can click on it, you can modify it, you can choose who in your group that you want to change it for, and it's going to show up with alternative times and experiences that you can change it to as long as it fits your schedule. Wow, the citizens of Hollywood over there are having a lot of fun. But okay. Now I chose Studios for a specific reason, because Studios and Epcot actually work on a tiered FastPass system that is different than Magic Kingdom, that is different than Disneyland and Animal Kingdom and California Adventure. How that works is that they have a limited amount of FastPasses for popular rides, and they have a limited amount of e-ticket attractions. So how that works is they don't want somebody who gets here early in the morning to go get a FastPass from Toy Story Midway Mania and Fantasmic and Rock and Roller Coaster, because then nobody else would have that opportunity. So they have to split it up into different tiers. So those are all going to be in Tier 1, so you can only choose one of those, and then you can choose 2 from Tier 2. And Tier 2 has things like a lot of the shows, like Tower of Terror, and that just gives everybody more of an opportunity to get fast passes and to use them. And now, in addition to the convenience of being able to modify, cancel, and update your fast passes anywhere in the park, anywhere in line as you're waiting for another attraction, after you use these 3 individual fast passes, after you've used your first 3, you can select a new one after that. And after you've used that fast pass, you can select a new one after that, and so on and so forth. The fast passes are unlimited. You just have to know how to work the system. So personally, how I do fast passes is I want to be able to do as much as I possibly can in the park if I'm going to be there the entire day. So I'm going to set up my fast passes back to back, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. Okay. So because of how the mobile app works, you are not necessarily confined to those time intervals for those fast pass selections. You can get here bright and early when the park opens. You can go to that first attraction of the day, that first fast pass. Let's say that it's Rock and Roller Coaster, and as soon as you scan that Magic Band, or as soon as you scan that RFID technology, that park card, whatever you have, it's going to be removed off your itinerary. So you can go right back into the app, right on your phone. You can move that second fast pass attraction all the way up as early as you can. Let's say that it's 9:05, and then you can go straight to that second attraction, scan that Magic Band, then move that third one all the way up, and then from there it's one fast pass at a time for the remainder of the day. As soon as you book that fast pass and as soon as you scan it, get right back on that app, find a new fast pass, you scan it, you use it, and you book a new one. And you can do every single fast pass opportunity and offering in the park in a day. So this is something that I absolutely swear by, because it works for me so well and it is so convenient, and just this system that Disney has in place right now is absolutely perfect, unless they change it in the future, which they probably will, because they're constantly trying to update it. Alright, we are going to head back to my apartment right now so I can wrap up and maybe mention a couple other things that I forgot to mention here about fast passes and the system and how it works. I'm going to go and cancel the fast passes that I currently have so that other people have the opportunity to ride them. But I'll see you guys back in my apartment in just a second. Okay, we're back in my apartment. I hope that going to the park and giving an in-park demonstration was beneficial to figuring out how to utilize and maximize the FastPass system. What's really cool is that Disney is constantly updating and modifying the current system to maximize the experience of guests. Right now, over in California, they're making a minor adjustment to how their FastPass system works. We've gone over that previously. How it worked is you would take your day ticket, you would insert it into the kiosk of the ride you wanted to FastPass, and it would spit out a little paper FastPass ticket. But now it prints out a paper FastPass reminder ticket, and your park admission ticket serves as your FastPass. Just like Walt Disney World's RFID system, now you take your park ticket and you scan it at a touch point, and then that admits you into the ride. And on top of that, back in January 2017, Disneyland announced their MaxPass system. And how I've understood that to work, for $10 per person per day, instead of having to go to the ride that you want a FastPass and printing out a ticket, you can do it on your phone from anywhere else in the park, and you get unlimited PhotoPass downloads. And personally, I think it's a really good deal, even for PhotoPass by itself. But back to Walt Disney World and a couple changes they've made to their FastPass system. After you created and redeemed your first 3 FastPasses, after that third FastPass, you had to physically go to a kiosk in the park that you were currently in to get another FastPass. But now you can do it on your phone. That makes it like 5,000% more convenient. And as an example of how people would take advantage of this system is that people used to be able to bring in old park tickets that weren't used for valid admission, and they could scan and put FastPasses and redeem them with those cards. Disney has since amended that loophole by only allowing tickets that were used for park admission that day to have redeemable FastPasses on them. So that's kind of the point. The system is constantly evolving, but it's for your benefit. Disney wants you to ride more rides, and they want you to see more shows, and they want you to spend a lot less time in line. But let me say, your Disney experience cannot and should not be dictated by FastPass experiences. Working at the theme parks, I've seen so many guests obsessed with FastPasses to the point where it can ruin their family vacations. You gotta remember that when it comes to Disney, it's not what you do, it's who you do it with. You can spend your time here exactly how you want to. If you're like me and you want to do as much as possible, so you set up 3 FastPasses and then you get 1 at a time after that, and you FastPass 25 rides in a day, you can do that. If you want to organize your FastPasses as more checkpoints for the day, and you set up one at 10 o'clock, and then at 4 p.m., and then at 8 p.m., you can do that. If you're old-fashioned and FastPass is just too much for you and you just want to stand in a line because you want to stand in a line, then you can do that. However you want to do FastPasses, it doesn't matter because you are going to have an awesome time. Just make sure whether you use an app or the kiosk that your whole party is together. And make sure you arrive during your hour-long time window interval. You can arrive 5 minutes early and 15 minutes late, but you want to be considerate to everybody else in line and to the operators of the ride and to the ride itself. I think that I've said most things that I wanted to say, but I probably left out some kind of important stuff. Like, it's going to be a lot more easy for me as a single guest in a park to modify and change my FastPasses than it would like a family of 15. That's going to be a little bit more hard and complicated. But remember, just keep refreshing, keep checking back, because you never know. Okay, so I'm gonna head on out. I hope you guys enjoyed this informative format of this kind of a video. My name is Roy. This is Roy Meets World. I do videos every Tuesday right here on the Attractions Magazine channel. Make sure to click the little bell down below to subscribe and to be notified of videos when we post them and what kind of stuff that we post here. So I will see you guys next Tuesday. Let me know if you want to see something like this kind of a video, but with a different topic, I suppose. But until then, I will see you soon, and have a good day.